guys, it's me Haru and welcome to episode 21 of SpyroCast. Today I have with me BanzaiBasher. Hello Banzai, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Hi, well, I am currently going to school for software engineering stuff, doing an online school for that, and to make some money on the side, I also do like DoorDash and delivery and stuff like that.
Alright, cool. So you're doing, you're going into video game design?
Yeah, that's the end goal. I'm currently kind of the program I'm in is a lot more broad, but it's so that I can develop the skills needed to eventually kind of like move into that sort of area. Because the thing is it's obviously kind of hard to get a job in game design, or at least like create your own game and make that your only thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to get a job in the industry, or at least like in software design in some way, even if it's not directly video games. And then at first, I'm going to maybe do video game design as like a hobby on the side. And then if that takes off, I can kind of move to it full time. So.
All right, that sounds good. Hopefully you'll be able to make, fun platformer games in like Spyro style.
Yeah, exactly. That's the end goal. I like those games. They were my childhood.
And speaking of your childhood, tell me about your history with Spyro.
All right, so I first played Spyro well after it had come out because I'm 22 right now. The game came out, a few years after I was born. I was too young right as it came out to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up playing it when I was maybe 5 or 6. Because our neighbors, who I was good friends with, had the game, and I went over and I played it, and I really liked it. So they lent us the game, and my dad and I played through the first one, and we gave it back to them when we had gotten pretty far into it, and he just bought the game. And then we did the same thing with the second and third game. They lent it to us, we liked it, we bought them. And so I played those a lot when I was a kid, because it's kind of hard when you're a kid, and even now, to not like a cocky purple dragon. So obviously it had a big impact on me because I was young and impressionable, and it's stuck with me to this day in terms of loving Spyro. And then when I got a bit older, like late elementary maybe, is when I got to play the first game in the Legend of Spyro series, which I wasn't a big fan of, and I remember that because I was really sad when I played it, and I told my parents, and they ended up returning the game for me and got me another one because I was so sad. I think they ended up getting me like Ratchet and Clank or something like that.
That's a good replacement.
Yeah, it was an excellent replacement because I've heard varying degrees of the Legend of Spyro. The main one is it's like the first 2 games, mechanics-wise, aren't all that great, but the story is interesting. But as a kid, I cared a lot less about the story and how much fun I was having when I was playing it. So I kind of want to go back and try it at some point and try to just kind of get past the crummy mechanics. But I did like A Hero's Tale quite a bit, even though it was pretty different. But I liked the style that they took with it. Spyro looked more like Spyro. The characters had varying degrees of changes, like Bentley, who actually looks a lot like the Reignited version of Bentley, because clearly they took some inspiration from that version.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, you can tell, like, if you look at them, it's almost 1-to-1, but just better graphics now. It's really interesting. But that, and then I did like that game a lot. And Enter the Dragonfly was the bane of my existence. I played that a little bit, and it bugged out so much I never got to finish the game because I just got tired of it.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what happened to me. I think I got to I'm gonna say I got to Thieves' Den, and then I realized, hey, I don't want to play this game because it's a glitchy mess.
I kept falling through the floor, and it would kill me. And that happened in several areas, or sometimes you'd like charge and you'd hit a wall at a weird angle and you'd clip through the wall, and then it was like, oh, so that's a problem. And then you'd lose progress, and then it would just get tiring. Even though some of the worlds had interesting like ideas, and the music was good.
Yeah.
But just because it's an interesting idea doesn't mean it was executed properly at all.
Yeah.
So.
Like, that's kind of why I think that it is sort of worthy of a remake, because if they can take all those good ideas that it had and make it into an actually playable game, then that would be great.
Yeah, and even if they utilized them in another game, like if they didn't do a direct one-to-one upgrade, like if they were like, hey, Thieves' Den was a great idea, let's make that an actual level in the new game, except, polish it up, make it look good, and use that, even if it's not a one-to-one version of the level, the concept of the level is so cool. Like, this is where the thieves are. That's awesome, because you see them in every other game.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that would be interesting to see what they do with, with that in general.
Yeah, people are often asking me what I think of Enter the Dragonfly, and, if I'll review it. Eventually, I will. I just have to get the game back first, because I
got rid of it.
Yeah, I got rid of it because, surprise, surprise, I didn't like it. And so, yeah, I'll have to buy it back, and I guess I'll try to play through it and get as far as I can. I want to... before I do reviews, I kind of have to at least try to finish things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I guess I'll do it.
I don't blame you at all. That's gonna be rough because even finishing that game was a pain sometimes. Because because it sounds like we both kind of gave up on it. We're just like, no, this isn't worth my time.
Yep.
So I wish you luck on your endeavor.
Same thing with the Hero's Tale. I don't think I got far in a Hero's Tale. I don't think I got far in that game at all, because I can't even remember the first boss.
I think the first boss was nasty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I played it. Though, I did like it more than Enter the Dragonfly. Because it was functional.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the first boss was Nasty Nort.
Okay, that sounds...
I'm remembering properly.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that was the only boss they reused as well. I don't think Ricto or the Sorceress showed up in that game at all. So it was only him, and he was dumb.
Yeah, and he looked weird too.
He really did. He had those really big chest plates, which made it kind of look like he had a big metal bra on, which was kind of like, huh, well...
That's funny!
Interesting design decision there.
Yeah.
It was, that was an interesting choice for sure.
But, Hero's Tale had other things that I thought were good. It had it was basically like Jak and Daxter. It had good level design. It had some, some good character design with the NPCs. I remember I liked the fox lady and the hyena.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking, and I'm like, yeah, no, that existed. You know what I didn't like though was Blink, the freaking mole. I don't know if you ever got to one of those levels. His levels were really aggravating. They were the only part of the game I really was like, oh, I have to do one of these again, huh?
I don't know if I ever got to that point. I remember getting to a part where you could play as Hunter, which is...
The Hunter missions were great. I liked those.
Which is why I wanted to get the game in the first place, because I was like, oh, you get to play as Hunter, and you get to do archery, and that's cool, because I'm a sucker for archery for some reason. So I was like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that. And I think I sort of had fun with the missions, but everything else was just kind of boring.
It was average. Yeah, it's like... It really was. I think you're matching it to I'd say the first Jak and Daxter is the one it was closest to, obviously.
Yeah,
the other
but Jak and Daxter was fun.
The other one's got way darker. But yeah, no, that's a good comparison. It's just there was less to do than in Jak and Daxter, which is why I know a lot of people didn't even like the first Jak and Daxter. Like, it's just a platformer. I thought it was a great game.
That's exactly why I like it. It's just a platformer. I don't need freaking angsty Grand Theft Auto shooting. I don't care.
You don't need angry, dark emo Jak. You don't need him
no,
running around.
I don't need that in my life. Oh my god, I hate Jak 2.
I liked Jak 3 when I was in the desert because I liked going around like I was in a demolition derby.
Demolition derby. I liked Jak 3. I thought the beginning part was fun. I got to a part where you could, when you used the light eco, I think, where you turn into Light Jak and you did like a flying thing.
Became an angel.
Yeah, and you do the flying thing. That was kind of cool.
For sure. Yeah, no, that second game was. I don't even think I ever beat the second one. I think I got near the end and I was like, okay, that's enough. But yeah, no, for sure, I would agree. Hero's Tale, similar to Jak and Daxter, but Jak and Daxter was better.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I'd say it was very average for a game.
I
A Hero's Tale.
I liked being able to use like the cheat codes to play as Ember and Flame. I remember like I got to a point where that's pretty much all I was doing once I got what was it through? Because I had a Game Shark and I had an Action Replay, and one of them had a thing where
turned you into the...
Yeah, you could do something like that, and I was like, oh, I'm playing as Ember now, and I just ran around as Ember, and I didn't really do anything. I just thought it was cool that I was
You were a different dragon.
I know. That's all I did.
Yeah, those were really funny too, because Ember didn't get a voice change even if you were in the skin. So it was like you'd be running around, but you'd sound like Spyro. So it didn't. It didn't make any sense because you talk to people and you'd hear Spyro's voice coming out of Ember's body, and it was like, huh, that's interesting. It'd be interesting to see if they did try to bring her or any of the quote-unquote new characters from A Hero's Tale into a new Spyro game.
Yeah. I mean, what you said there kind of reminded me of if Cinder is in the game and sounds like Spyro, it's just a skin and it sounds like Spyro.
It's just, yeah, it wouldn't make sense. To be fair, I don't want them to put Cinder in the game.
I don't want them to do it either.
If they're going to add her, I want them to put her in properly in a story capacity in a fourth game. Because, I mean, I mentioned this before, but, I do think that I don't really count Enter the Dragonfly as the fourth Spyro game because I mean it wasn't made by different people. There was all sorts of problems with it. I want them to make a proper successor to the third game and make a fourth game because each game up until that and even that game itself, they were all self-contained kind of adventures, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of want them to do another version kind of like that because I mean the GBA games did not do a good job of that either.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you didn't count Enter the Dragonfly as Spyro 4, and then I think I said something like, you just mentioned the GBA games. I always thought that Season of Ice was Spyro 4 because it came out before Enter the Dragonfly.
Yeah. And it almost got as confusing to follow Spyro as it did to follow Kingdom Hearts for a bit there. Because they started putting Spyro on different things, and you're just like, wait, why?
That's true, yeah.
Let's be honest, Kingdom Hearts is still always going to be worse, because that's just a confusing mess of games. But Spyro, it got weird, and then it got bad, and then it got worse.
Spyro has just been on a roller coaster.
Poor guy. He's been on a downward spiral for the last several years. Unfortunately.
That's what some people would say about Crash, even though I actually prefer the later games.
I mean, this is a really unpopular... I liked Mind Over Mutant, personally.
Mind Over Mutant and Tag Team Racing are actually tied for my favorite Crash game. I just think they're really funny.
They were! And it's one of those things where I hate having that opinion, and when people talk about the Crash games, I'm like, I'm not gonna... I'm just gonna act like I don't think they exist. But I honestly liked Mind Over Mutant when I got it. It was fun. The mutants were fun to play. It was, I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, it's just you don't want to have that opinion where you're in a Crash group and people are just like, oh, my favorite one is Warped or whatever. And I'm just like, I like Mind Over Mutant.
Yeah, that would honestly be very similar to in Spyro saying, hey, my favorite Spyro game was Enter the Dragonfly, and then it's just everyone would just give you that look.
Yeah.
I give that person that look, so I'm not immune to it.
Yeah, saying that or saying my favorite Spyro game is Skylanders or something like that.
Lies, that game is not a Spyro game, and I refuse to acknowledge it as such.
I don't think it's a Spyro game. I think it's a game with Spyro in it. However, since it started, it kind of started Spyro's revival a little bit. So if people want to count it in the franchise, I don't mind if they do.
I personally don't count it as a Spyro game. But the thing is I'm not going to hate on people for liking it. But if people say it's their favorite Spyro game, I'm going to be like, you're missing out.
Yeah,
because it's not a true Spyro game. If it only included Spyro and that was the only character, then yeah, it counted as a Spyro game. But the whole point of it was to not just play Spyro, it was to play all sorts of... So the first game was called Spyro Skylanders, right?
It was called Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, even though he wasn't the featured character on the box.
He wasn't, was he?
Well, he was on the box, but he wasn't in the middle. And that's what
That's
always
so
bugged
funny.
me. Stealth Elf, I think, was in the middle. And I'm just like, the game's called Spyro's Adventure, and he's just tossed off to the side.
That's so funny. Skylanders, Spyro. I'm looking it up. Adventure box. I want to see. Huh! Yeah, look at that.
Is Stealth Elf in the middle?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. 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 He's to the left.
Yeah, he's to the left. He's not even the center character. I don't get it.
Why would they name? Okay, I'm mad now too. Why?
Why?
Name it that if you're not gonna put him in the middle?
I know, it always bugged me. It always bugged me. Every time I looked at the box, I would get so angry. I'd be like, why isn't he in the middle?
They could have even named it Stealth Elf's Adventure. It still starts with an S.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have even cared if it said Skylanders Stealth Elf's Adventure featuring Spyro. That's what the box tells me.
It does. That's so. Oh my goodness! I never knew that. That's so funny. That's hilarious. That's that actually cracks me up. That's why. that seems like weird marketing right there. Look, we have Spyro, except we're not even gonna care to put him in the center.
I know. Oh my god.
It did introduce a whole new generation to Spyro too, which I have to give it credit for.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I think that Reignited is going to do much better than Insane, even though Insane did insanely well. It did really, really well, but I think that Spyro reaches a lot more audiences than Crash ever. Because you're getting the old fans, you still have the new fans. You can get even fans that have never played a Spyro game. You're going to have all the nostalgic parents that are like, I liked this game when I was younger, and they're going to have buying them for their kids. So it's like, I think it just ends up reaching more, because Insane Trilogy, while it was good, the Crash games are not raunchy necessarily. They're a little bit more jagged, I guess. It's not as family friendly as Spyro is.
Yeah.
So and they're harder for sure. So I do think it'll do well. Even though people will say, "Oh, I'm boycotting it for whatever reason that they have," which I think is silly. Most of the reasons I've heard are not good reasons. They're silly little reasons. So what next?
Okay. So going off of we just talked about possibly least favorite Spyro games. What is your favorite Spyro game?
Okay, see, that is a tough question, because my top two Spyro games I know for sure are Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon. My problem always comes down to picking which one I actually like more, because I like Ripto's Rage because it felt the most self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very organized and well put together, but Year of the Dragon does have a lot more to do. And you could tell that you could almost feel that it was a little bit rushed, because certain things didn't feel right. Like a lot of the challenges felt really off. I'd say at least 50% of them that the challenges are just like, why though? I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But the other ones I did like the skateboarding. Obviously, like that's one of everyone's favorite things about Spyro 3. But if I were to pick one, I'd say I think Ripto's Rage probably edges out, just for being very well put together, with Year of the Dragon slightly behind, due to certain areas of that game making me not want to play it.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it made me feel like that too.
Well, it's like I'd come up to certain levels and I would be like, oh no.
Oh no.
I remember what I have to do here. Like, what's a good one? What's one that I really didn't like? I'm trying to think.
The
skating was good.
tunnels in Seashell Shore and Dino Mines.
Tunnels weren't terrible. They were just annoying.
I
would say one that I really Oh, I remember the one. Freaking Sergeant Bird and those stupid witch cats.
Yeah.
I hated that one because you had to restart every single wave if you died on any of them. You only had one set of sparks to play through it, and on the last wave, you can't touch the floor, and also they're shooting at you while you're trying to shoot at other ones, so they just hit you in the back of the head when you're trying to do things. It was just disorienting. The camera wasn't made for that.
Yeah.
So it got so... that one just got... I did not like that one just because the camera... Every single character in that game had one bonus level that was just bad, at least.
Yeah.
Bentley's was boxing. Agent 9's, well...
everything.
The only one I was kind of okay with... The one in the tomb was okay. It wasn't hard. You just kind of ran around and shot a bunch. It was
Yeah.
just time consuming. I actually kind of liked the Dino Mines one because I honestly think that one's actually going to be great in the new version with proper shooting controls. Because I liked the whole kind of like move up. It felt like an old style like arcade shooting game, which I did like. And then Fireworks Factory was just time consuming because you'd sit there, you shoot them as they come in, you slightly move up, you shoot them, and then you find the box, you shoot the box a bunch, you find the next box, you shoot the box. It was just that was Agent 9. Sheila's was the stupid fireflies.
Yep.
And what characters am I missing? Sergeant Burt, Bentley, Agent 9, Sheila. And I got the Sergeant Bird one. Yeah, it's all of them. Sparks' levels in general were not my favorite. But, I mean, they weren't poorly put together or anything. It was just like, maybe it's just because I didn't like the top-down thing, the isometric, whatever. I wasn't, they weren't awful. I did kind of dread having to go back to the area and be like, oh, I have to go do the Sparks level now to get the bonus.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I got very minimal benefit from, like, the last level's bonus because I always 100%ed everything up until that point. So, like, the gem detector one was, like, worthless. Because it's like, oh, right, I already 100%ed all the levels. This doesn't help me in the slightest.
It's true.
The only one that really benefited was probably the extra hit.
Yeah, but I think the gem finder is still good because, now when I was a kid, it seems like I found all the gems right away. However, when I went back to play it recently, I found that I was missing a lot of gems. I don't know how, I just could not find anything.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. The funny thing is that, like, when I went back through the game I actually had the most trouble finding the gems on was the first one. And guess which game is the only one that doesn't have any way to do a gem finder?
Oh, the first one!
Is the first game. So, I remember very specifically, there was some gems I was missing on Clifftown. I couldn't find them.
Oh my god.
And it was funny because I thought I found them all, because I was like, no, I remember there's gems behind the starting area. And I went there and I grabbed them and I still didn't have enough.
No!
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I ran around the level and I found it. It was basically when you go forward out of the start of the level, to the right behind one of the buildings you go around, there's some chests there.
Yeah.
But it's up against the wall. And I didn't see them because I charged past them the first time.
Oh,
and
yeah. They're right. Were you free, what's his name? Halvor, I think? The purple dragon?
Yeah. Yep. And I completely just missed them. It never caught the view of the camera. And so I went right by them. And I spent a solid 10 minutes running around the level looking for him. And then I went back to the beginning of the level, I was like, let's try this again and be very, very thorough. I went forward and I looked to my right and I was like, oh, look at that.
I know, you're just like, are you kidding me?
Yup. It was awful. There was a couple levels like that. Because Spyro 1 had some areas, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think it made certain areas a little bit harder than they had to be, where it didn't seem like you should be able to go there, it was very hard to see. I know there was one, can't remember if it was Magic Crafters. It might have been Magic Crafters. It was one of the Magic Crafters levels where you basically had to use the supercharger and you had to go through a door and then off to your left. But unless you looked exactly there, you wouldn't even notice that there was any platform to jump onto. So if you weren't paying attention, and so it was like little areas like that where you're like, okay, that was a little kind of sketchy, because unless you were directly looking for it, you wouldn't know. So you just kind of keep going, and you just miss it.
Yeah.
And definitely on Clifftown, behind the starter building, I could understand if you're new to the game. That is not somewhere you'd look at and be like, I have to glide from this top area all the way down there behind the building.
I know, there's no indication that anything is behind there.
Right, and it looks like you just get yourself killed.
Yeah.
So that was one of those levels where you're just kind of like... Because I had a friend who had never played Spyro before, and she wanted to play through it. And I was like, if you have trouble on any of the levels, ask. Because I guarantee you there are just some levels you're going to be like, where are the gems? Or where's this one dragon? And I'll tell you where it is, because I've been through that pain enough times to know where they are.
Oh, boy, yeah. Oh, it sucks.
First game did have the best collectibles, though. The dragons were great.
Mm-hmm.
Better than the orbs or the baby dragons. Baby dragons are second best. Orbs were the most boring.
Yeah, I guess orbs were, kind of a boring collectible because they didn't, do anything, but they were pretty.
They were very shiny. This is true. We still don't know if they even brought the bouncing back to the gem, do we? Because the last time we saw it, it just kind of appeared and just kind of went to you, and I know a lot of people were like, bring back the bounce!
I know, it's like, yeah, I really don't know. I mean...
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, who knows on that one.
Huh. It's funny how no one's ever talked about that with all the GameStop demos going on, because you can play Idle Springs, and no one has confirmed if the bouncing on the orbs is back. Perhaps it's not.
Huh. I was so sad. I tried calling all my local GameStops. There's like 3 or 4 that I can reach. And I was like, do you have none of them have a demo station for anything. And I'm like, you gotta be... Why?
Yeah.
I just wanted to play Spyro early.
I know, that's what... I think my GameStops are like the same way. Like, for one thing, the closest one to me is the one in my local mall. And that's like a really small one, so they don't have any of that at all. And then, the one that's slightly bigger, last time I was in there, I didn't see any kiosks at all. I didn't even know that was a thing in GameStop.
Yeah,
like the
because
kiosks.
most of them don't have them anymore, apparently. They used to.
I think, like, Target is the only place I can think of that has something like that.
You're right, Target does still have those. I think Walmart sometimes have them, too. Like, they'll just have a game that's, like, up above where you can get them.
Yeah.
I still think it would have been really nice of Toys for Bob to drop us a demo before release. Like, on the day it should have released, be like, here's, like, the demo we showed at E3 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
I think it would have been kind of nice, because it was, like, it was a little sad when that date came and passed, and we are just kind of like, oh, gotta wait another 2 months.
I know. Oh, but now it's upon us. It's almost here.
Yeah. And I'm excited. And I'm gonna go to my game. I pre-ordered from the GameStop because I know Amazon wouldn't get the delivery to me until like the afternoon, and I'm not willing to buy the digital version because I like having the box. So, because if I bought the digital version, I'd be able to play that like as it drops that evening, and I'm not spending another $80 just to play it a few hours early, or $40 rather, and spending a total of $80. But
yeah,
my GameStop opens at like 10 in the morning in the mall. So I was like, all right, that day I'm going to make sure I have nothing planned. I'm picking that game up at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that game in my hands as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, I pre-ordered from Amazon, but there's no guarantee that it'll even get to the P.O. box day one, so I'm not sure when exactly I'll be picking it up.
I hope for your sake it gets there day one. Because otherwise you're gonna be losing your mind hearing everybody talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't matter much to me anyway, because even if it did, I can't get to the P.O. box.
Right.
So I'd have to have it picked up for me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shield yourself for a day or so until you can get it picked up. Cause
no, I won't, because I'm gonna be joining Mark on his stream. Oh,
that's right, you are. Yeah. So you're doing the stream with him.
Yeah.
That'll be fun at least. I'll probably have it like on as I'm playing the game myself. It'll be my background noise.
Yeah. You'll get to hear my reaction to it.
Exactly. And I'm so excited to see what everyone has to say about it. Like, I have a friend who doesn't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, and I'm going to be just kind of privately streaming it to her while we're in a call. So she can see everything, and she knows that I'm losing my mind over the game. So she's excited to see what I'm thinking about it. Because she doesn't have the same level of freak-out nostalgia that I'm going to have.
Yeah.
But she's, like, more excited, not necessarily to see the game, because she thinks the game looks nice, but she's more excited to see what my reaction is to the game. Because she knows I'm going to lose my mind over it, which isn't untrue.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to lose my mind, too. I'm just, like, anyone who sees things early or whatever, I'm always just like, it's like, so what'd you see? Like, did you see more of the dragons? What'd you see? Like,
yeah, and that's one of the toughest parts about not getting to play a demo ourselves. It's we're just like, how'd it feel? Was it good?
Was it good?
We're like drug addicts, really. We're just kind of like, give us more.
What's good? What's bad?
Tell us everything you know.
Gonna have that secondhand smoke.
Yeah, scratching our arms, our eyes are twitching. We're just like, please. So I feel every time I heard of people going to like the conventions, I'm like, so what was there? Like that's how I felt after the PAX panel that they had, because we were only getting snippets of it on Twitter, but I knew someone who went, and I was like, so they were done, and I was like messaging him, so what was there?
So what did you see?
Oh Still, the greatest thing about that one was definitely hearing it's like, oh, you can play the original music too. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Well, they actually did it, the Madmen.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Especially since I heard, you know, that I guess some music, because like some music has been like really, really good and spot on to the original, and I guess that some will be, you know, different. So for the ones that are really different, I guess, you know, and people don't like them, they can just switch to the original. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I haven't had too many issues with the new soundtrack, if I'm being honest. I do think that everyone owes it to Toys for Bob, even though I know most, or not most, but some people won't. I think everyone owes it to Toys for Bob for playing it in the way that they intended it to be played, which is play it, if you can, play it multiple times. Play it the first time through with the new soundtrack, the changing soundtrack and all that. I think people should, just because they put work and effort into it.
Yeah, which is what I'm gonna do first.
I'm playing through that game like 3 times.
I know. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna do like I'm gonna do like once like dynamic, once no dynamic, and one original music.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, I'm just gonna play through this game a ton. And I mean, the first time I played through it, I imagine it's gonna be the slowest time I played it since I was a kid, because I'm gonna be like looking for every detail. I'm just gonna, I know for a fact I'm just gonna be floored when I get into the game. I know. Myself.
I'm gonna be like, oh my god, look at that! Oh, look at that! Oh, it's like you know it, but you don't know it. It's like it's a completely different experience.
It's like re-experiencing the game for the first time again, which is why I'm so excited for it. Like, will I play the originals? Sure, I'll still play through those on occasion. But the thing is this is when it inevitably comes out on like the Switch and whatnot. It's bringing the old Spyros to a new generation of people. It's going to be way more convenient because obviously you can run them on all the new systems. And then if you put it on the Switch, then it's also portable. So it's just like, well,
perfect.
It's really hard to argue with that. So I do imagine once it comes out, I'll play it more than the originals just because it's easier. I mean, the easiest way for me to play the originals now is to either A, find my backwards compatible PS3 and find the discs and then play it that way, but that's also bulky, or emulate it on my computer, which is just more work than I want to do because I'm lazy sometimes.
Yeah. Luckily I have PS2. I can just pop it in there, no problem.
Yeah, it's just I don't even have my PS3 set up right now, so I have to go get it out. It's just too much work. But once I get on the PlayStation 4, which I do have out, it's gonna be like, yes, I'm just gonna play this. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna lose my life to Spyro for a month.
Yeah, I know.
Several times.
That's what I'm gonna do too. It's like I'm gonna find it hard to like even make videos during that time because I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm locking myself in here and I'm playing Spyro. Just like I'm gonna tell you about it on Twitter, but just expect the videos to be slower.
Yeah, I just it's gonna be so good. I know it's gonna be great. Like, I know a lot of people are still skeptical, and I'm like, how? Have you seen what they've done with this game? Goodness gracious, they're putting so much more effort into it than I ever anticipated. Like, the dragons is one of the biggest things where I'm just like, you didn't have to make them all completely different, but sure, if that okay.
I know, it's just like, you could have reused models just like they did. I would have been fine with that, but no, you made everyone different, and it's amazing.
I feel like what they almost did is they were like, all right, here's like, we're going to just create like 10 different body types, 10 different head types, 10 different like wing types, and then just drop them into a character creator and just mix match them.
Mix match them, exactly, yes.
So at least all of them look somewhat unique to one another, even if they, I think for the most part, what we've seen, the faces seem actually for the most part unique. Some of the body types look similar. And some of the wing types, but it seems like, especially for the facial features, they were like, we're really going to make sure that every dragon at least looks not the same. because all the dragons have been completely distinguishable from one another in the new one.
Yeah.
Whereas in the original, it was like they had what 3 different model types for each area, 4 maybe. It wasn't a lot, and then so they'd reused them several times. But in the new one, it's just like, oh, look at that! Like the trailer, we just saw so many ones that we didn't get to see before.
Yep.
And they've all looked great.
I know they all look great.
Did you see the picture they just put up, Toys for Bob?
Yes, I believe Titan and Cosmos were in that picture.
Yeah, Titan was the one I was about to mention. It looks so good. And we haven't really. The thing is we've only seen one Peacekeeper dragon, right?
We've seen
2 now, but
well, let's see. Titan, Magnus, and Trondo.
Trondo, right? Okay, yeah. So it's been 3. We've seen less of them than anyone else, though. Yeah, I think it feels like we've seen a lot less Peacekeepers than any of the other realms.
I think we've seen a lot less magic crafters. I think.
It's a magic track. Okay, we've seen a ton of artisans, and we've seen a ton of beastmakers.
Yeah, and we've seen a pretty good amount of Dreamweavers since they did show off Dark Passage. So.
Yeah, when I saw Titan in the background though, he had if you look at it, he's got this really cool hair. He's got this full head of hair. He's got this double set of horns, and and he's got these medals that are pinned to the front of him. I'm like, that makes sense. He's in charge.
He's like a war hero.
Yeah, basically, I just thought it looked really cool.
He does.
And I was like, man, I hope they don't change that from the concept art. It looks so cool.
I know. Oh man, I'm definitely going to do a new top 10 dragons from Reignited, because I think just so many of them have changed so much that I'm just like, wow, you look a hell of a lot better than you did in the original.
Yeah, it's just my favorite dragons always in that game are going to be any of the ones that are old men that have the voice lines. They're just the old elder dragons have always cracked me up.
Yeah.
To this day, they still crack me up because it's just the voice and everything. And we've heard a couple of them now, and I'm just like, yes. Except now, they also have more voice actors for the dragon, so they all sound more different too.
Yeah.
So.
The elder dragon that always cracked me up the most was Asher from Ice Cavern.
Yeah.
He always said it was thank you for releasing me, but the way he said it, it just sounded like he was gonna die. Any moment, I don't know why, it just made me laugh.
You're like, are you gonna keel over, buddy? You okay?
Yeah, he's like, thank you for releasing me. He's like, I'm like, oh my god.
I feel like when he disappeared, he just disappeared into the void.
That was his last words before he died.
That was it. When he teleported away, he just the void took him. They didn't put him back. They're like, he's gone now. He's a dead dragon.
It's like you had to free him to send him into the heavens.
He was ready to just he was ready to be done with life, and then stupid nasty Nork was like, nah, we're gonna freeze you.
It's like, you're gonna die like this.
You're never gonna die now. You're stuck in this crystal.
And he's like, thank you for releasing me, and then he just ascends into the heavens.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the stuff we've been getting recently has actually been really good. Like the Dr. Shemp thing cracked me up.
Yeah.
I rewatched the Dr. Shemp video so many times.
This guy thinks he's so cool.
I'm glad we actually finally got that for him too, the full voice line, because before we only had the clip of him with no sound from PAX, and this time we got the full
Well, almost full.
Yeah, they cut it off. They've been doing that a lot with their cutscenes. They show us most of the cutscene, and then they chop off the end of it. I'm like, wait.
Wait, that's not the end. Give me the rest, Toys for Bob.
The cutscenes have been looking so good too.
I know. I love the one with Agent 9. Oh god, he's so cool.
That was so great.
He's so funny. Okay, we've gone on too long, but that was so much fun. Thank you, BanzaiBasher, for being on.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun. I like talking about Spyro. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
I can tell.
Yeah, Spyro's great. And I have a passion for the games.
Uh-huh. So do I. And since Reignited is upon us, after it releases, definitely I'm going to have you back on so we can talk about all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's going to be a lot of fun. being able to talk about all because as much as they've shown us, they've only shown us a fraction of the games.
I know.
They've shown us so much, and I'm still like, wait, they haven't even shown us probably about 30% of the games in total. Not even probably 25%. Like the first game they've shown us a ton of, but when I'm thinking of like the second and third games, I'm like, they really haven't shown us that much. And those are the bigger games.
I know. Like people are just like, oh, they show too much. It's like, I don't want to go dark because they've shown too much. It's just like, but no, they haven't though.
If you really think of the full scale, like we've only seen a few Ripto's Rage game levels, and we've only seen the barest of minimum for the third game. Like we have not seen much on that third game at all. We've seen some stuff from the first world, and we've seen Bianca.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's all we've seen. We haven't seen anything. Well, at that, and we've seen like the Sheila. We've seen Sergeant Bird and Bentley and Agent 9, but we haven't seen the levels. We've only seen the characters. And we've seen snippets of the levels from like those like achievement screenshots, but that was about it.
Yep, that's all we've gotten.
So that's going to be exciting for sure.
All right. As always, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you all in the next SpyroCast. Until then, this is Miharu, signing off.